Let's go to Andy in Manhattan.
Hey, Tommy.
Hey, what's going on, man? How you been?
You know, I'm a member of the Den, and it is brilliant, and it has made me a much better trader and a much better money manager. If you ever need somebody to give a recommendation, I am there in spades.
Oh, I appreciate it.
And now, here's Tom O'Brien.
Well, not so fast. This is Friday, so this is David White, and I am author of the Technology Insider. Every Friday afternoon, on the last hour, Tom and I talk a lot about technology, emerging companies, disruptive technology. And we've got a very special show today. We're going to be talking with David J. Schramm. He is the CEO of Maxwell Technologies and has been since 2007. They make a new technology, a relatively new technology. It's an alternative to batteries, and we're going to find out all about this technology, what it is and how it works. And we want to welcome David Schramm to TFNN. How are you doing today, David?
I'm always doing well, David. How about you?
Another day in paradise.
There you go. Hey, if there's one thing I can start with, you just said we're an alternative to batteries. I would tell you we're a complement to batteries.
Well, we're gonna get into that. There's I think right now you are, but there's some people that believe that maybe that may change here in the near future. Anyway, you guys make a thing called supercapacitors. So let's get to it. What is a supercapacitor?
Okay, an ultracapacitor or supercapacitor basically is a device that stores power, and it stores it electrostatically. So, in effect, it's like storing static electricity. If I compare that to a battery is a chemical reaction that makes energy. An ultracapacitor doesn't make energy. It only stores it.
One is electronic in electricity. The other one's chemical, right?
Well, they're both producing electricity. Again, we're storing the electrostatic charges. The analogy I use, it's like storing static electricity. Lightning in a bottle is another little story you might hear. But the battery actually is a chemical reaction that makes the electricity. And the difference between the two is chemical reactions are very dependent on temperature, and we're not. We can work at minus 40 degrees centigrade up to plus 65. In Fahrenheit, that's about minus 40 below zero and about 150 degrees Fahrenheit. And by nature of the fact there's no chemistry, you can charge and discharge an ultracap about 1 million times, and they keep on working. And as everybody knows, a battery you can charge and discharge thousands of times, and then you just have to replace them.
That's because eventually that chemical reaction no longer works, right?
That's correct. It gets tired, if you will.
And capacitors have actually been out there for a long time, but the new nomenclature is ultracapacitors or supercapacitors or electric double-layer capacitors. You guys call them ultracapacitors. Now, what's the difference between that and the capacitor, which has been around for a very long time?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It all has to do with the engineering that's been done to increase the surface area on the carbon molecule. Normal capacitors that people probably have used over the years in electronics, they're rated in a unit called a farad, which is a coulomb per volt, which is a measure of current. But that coulomb per volt, 1 farad, if you check most engineering books, and I'm an engineer by background, but basically we are all taught about nanofarads and picofarads, and maybe you talk about 1 farad. Maxwell's core product line consists of a soda can size ultracapacitor that can store 3,000 farads. So it's at least 3 orders of magnitude more dense than what you have in a traditional capacitor.
I guess the thing we really need to get into quickly here, and when we talk about the differences between batteries and ultracapacitors, is the difference between energy and power density out there. Can you give us a little insight into that?
Sure. I think it's helpful to define what's the difference between power and energy. And the analogy I use is an automobile, and that is power would be analogous to your acceleration. Energy would be analogous to how far can you go. And I think as most people know, if you have a car that's very, very fast, 0 to 60 miles an hour, typically doesn't get very good fuel economy. And the converse of that is true. that if you get very, very good fuel economy, it probably doesn't accelerate real fast. So when you look at an ultracapacitor on a mass basis, an ultracapacitor has got 10 times the power of what a lithium-ion battery would have, but it's only got about 10% of the energy of a lithium-ion battery, which is why I started off, David, by saying that I do believe the two technologies are very complementary.
I guess there are some big differences in that power. That power can come out of an ultracap almost instantaneously, where batteries, to both charge them and decharge them, or actually use the power in it, takes a very long time, right?
That's correct. In fact, one of the major applications that we've got is recapturing braking energy. And we've been doing this now. We've got over 3,000 buses all over the world that recapture the braking energy and then reuse it to accelerate the bus. And if you think about braking any vehicle, you measure that in seconds. And typically when you recharge a battery, it takes hours. So we can take an ultracapacitor, capture the energy from a braking motion, and then turn around and reuse that energy to accelerate. In the case of that bus, we've been able to show that the amount of particulate effluent coming out of the tailpipe gets reduced by about 90%, and their fuel economy increases about 25%. And that's really a function of the fact that a typical bus starts and stops about every 500 meters.
You call this, is it regenerative power? Regenerative power?
The industry basically calls it regenerative braking. So in effect what they do is they'll use electric motors, typically on the rear drive, and if you run an electric motor backwards, it becomes a generator. So as you brake, you run that motor backwards, it acts as a brake. It then generates the electricity, it's stored in the ultracapacitor, and then when the bus goes to accelerate, it reuses that energy that it's saved, and it goes right back to that same motor, reverses direction, so it's a motor. It's about 95% efficient.
Compared to other things, how would that be compared to maybe batteries?
Well, again, the limitation is a battery that won't charge in 7 seconds. It takes longer than that to charge a battery. And if you did the start-stop cycle, again, by nature of the fact that you can charge and discharge the battery thousands of times in the ultracap, millions of times, the chance of the battery lasting the life of the vehicle is very small, and the fact that the battery just could not capture that braking energy that fast.
So when you talk about it being complementary out there, a lot of people have things called battery conditioners out there to make sure that the batteries last as long as possible. I guess this would be one part of it. Is there any more to the ultracap story out there and conditioning these batteries for the longest life out there?
Yeah, let me give you, there's some data that's been collected by the Argonne National Laboratories, and the Argonne Lab has been doing a lot of studies on what happens when you put a battery and an ultracapacitor together. Their findings are that you can extend the life of the battery because you're taking the heavy power requirements off the battery and letting it run more at steady state. And again, one thing I'd ask your listeners is if you have a battery in your watch and no other function on the watch, the battery lasts a long time. It's when you put features like a stopwatch or an alarm on the watch that battery just doesn't last as long. So again, if you take the power, which tend to be events that take a lot of power for a very short period of time, if you take that off the battery load, the battery will last longer. So what we suggest is put the two together into a system. Let the ultracapacitor do the power events, which are a lot of power for a short period of time. Let the battery do the energy events, which is a lower energy level for a longer period of time.
Okay, there is some other differentiations between this. If you put power in a battery, you charge up that nice battery, and it's a fairly new battery, you come back in about 30 days, it may have like 90% of the charge still left in it. It's a little different for ultracapacitors, right?
It is. In fact, the 2 points I'd give you is if you charged an ultracapacitor and just left it alone with no battery on it, in about 30 days it'd have about half its charge left. The truth is, if you keep it on a battery source, for instance, in a car, it'd stay at 100%, even if the battery was low voltage. So you can charge the ultracapacitor off a low-voltage battery that, in effect, would have not enough voltage to start the vehicle, but more than enough voltage to keep the ultracapacitor charged.
you actually have a business where you help vehicles, or I'm not exactly sure if it's all cars, but at least maybe Caterpillar kind of construction equipment out there that may sit for a long time and might not start real easily, especially in northern climates. And these ultracapacitors can help them start even with almost a dead battery?
Yes, they can. In fact, what you're talking about is a new product that we announced here just a few weeks ago. It's called our engine start module, and we've designed it specifically for heavy truck usage. And that is, you can replace one of the batteries in the truck with an ultracapacitor pack. The ultracapacitor pack basically holds the charge, so you've always got the power needed to restart the truck. We found that this business opportunity gets driven by the regulation of not running the hotel loads on a truck with the engine on. And again, the truck would pull off the side of the road for the night, and they used to idle all night, which would keep the batteries charged. Well, now they can't idle all night because of the pollution. So what they do is they run off the batteries, and they run the risk that in the morning there's not enough energy in the batteries to restart the car. So our engine start module replaces one of the batteries. So basically, it's the power source to restart the truck, and then the batteries can run the hotel loads.
So these kind of machines out there that are in the industry, what do they use? Like giant 6-volt batteries that you normally see associated with those kind of machines?
You know, the ones we've been looking at, David, typically use multiple 12-volt batteries, but they use more than one. They'll use 4 to, I don't know how many the upside is, but again, what we found is we can replace one of those, and the truck functions very, very well. You know, another example that is in production right now from Maxwell, and that is we have ultracapacitors in an automobile. It's in France, and we've got this system designed through Continental AG, which is a very large Tier 1 parts supplier in Europe. But what it does is it uses 2 ultracapacitors to start the car. So as the car comes to a stop, it'll restart the car using the power from the ultracap. What PSA is the name of the company, and the commercial name of their vehicles are Peugeots or Citroëns, and they are not sold in the U.S. at this time. But these cars were able to reduce the size of the battery 30% by using the ultracap. And again, the other benefit they find is we work at 40 below zero. And I grew up in Indiana where it didn't get quite that cold, but it got cold enough that you know what happens to a battery, and they just don't have the get up and go until they get warm.
I guess if there were more piston-powered airplanes out there, that may be a market for you. But I guess everybody's got their Learjet out there, or their Falcon. We're going to be back in just a few minutes, and we're going to talk about the ecological side of batteries versus maybe something like these ultracapacitors. What kind of chemicals do they use in them? Are they things that can be put in the landfill?
Direction Shares Leverage ETFs fuse the benefits of exchange-traded funds with the innovation you expect from Direction, providing investors with opportunities to magnify their short-term perspective, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. Direction Shares, ETFs to the power of X. To learn more about Direction Shares, click on the Direction banner on the front page of TFNN.com or call 866-476-7523. There is no guarantee that the funds will achieve their objective. The ETFs are not suitable for all investors and should be utilized only by sophisticated investors who understand short-term trading, leverage risk, consequences of seeking daily leverage investment results, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. An investor should consider the investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses of Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus contains this and other information and can be obtained at DirectionShares.com. Please read the prospectus carefully before investing. Distributed by Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Great Basin Gold is an international gold mining company with 2 producing mines in the world's most prolific gold mining areas, the Hollister Gold Mine on the Carlin Trend in Nevada and the Burnstone Gold Mine in the Wits Basin in South Africa. The Burnstone Mine is a low-cost, long-life, shallow mine that is a company builder, and the Hollister Mine is one of the world's highest-grade ore bodies being mined today. Burnstone offers a huge re-rating potential by producing in the 4th quarter, and Hollister represents a tremendous and very exciting exploration opportunity. With annual production of 165,000 ounces of gold in 2010, 260,000 in 2011 and 330,000 ounces of gold in 2012, Great Basin is poised to become a leading mid-tier gold producer. Great Basin Gold has resources of over 13 million ounces, exceptional organic growth potential at its current mines, and greenfield operations in Tanzania and Mozambique. Great Basin has strong management and a commitment to deliver exceptional value and cash flow to its shareholders while acting responsibly toward its surrounding communities. To find out more about Great Basin Gold, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the American Stock Exchange, symbol GBG.
Are you looking for some extra cash to help pay off some of your bills? Let Tiger Metal Exchange convert your unwanted jewelry to cash. We pay out 80% of the market price for gold. Our payouts are the highest in the industry, more than double our largest competitors. And we've created the safest, easiest, and most straightforward process for converting your jewelry to cash. Log on to TigerMetalExchange.com and get your free scale, your free eye loop, and get the cash you deserve now. We provide a free online calculator that converts your jewelry to cash at up-to-the-minute spot prices. We insure your items for up to $75,000 per shipment free of charge. We videotape the entire valuation process so that you can view it online. You can call us toll-free at 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. Let Tiger Metal Exchange put more cash in your pocket without ever leaving the comfort of your home. Join the list of thousands of satisfied customers and go to TigerMetalExchange.com. It's the only click you need to make. You've heard Bud Rolfs give his expert technical analysis of the stock market on the radio. Now you can have his superior trading advice and his best stock picks delivered right to your desktop every week with his newsletter, The Torch. Using his own trademarked Warpath trading system, Bud will help you to increase your odds of making and saving money in the markets with powerful stock selection, stock analysis, and trading plan strategies. Published every Monday morning, each issue of The Torch features full-color charts in an easy-to-follow format. You will also receive not only the big picture of what's going on in the major markets and critical sectors, but also featured stock picks with complete trading plans and technical setups, as well as the Subscribers Corner, where Bud analyzes stocks submitted by subscribers. Visit TFNN.com today and receive your 2-week free trial of The Torch. That's a $75 value. Sign up now and make sure you receive all the great market analysis and winning trade ideas in every action-packed issue of The Torch from Bud Rolfs.
This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we come back, we are talking with David Schramm. He is the CEO of Maxwell Technologies. They make supercapacitors, ultracapacitors are their brand names. You've got a different brand name, though, don't you?
Yes, we have a brand name of BoostCap, but that is the brand name specific to Maxwell for ultracapacitors.
Okay. Now, we were talking a little bit, or getting into it, environmentally, these things are probably made a little bit of better things than kind of heavy metals and some other things that are a little bit more environmentally friendly, aren't they?
Yeah, the ultracapacitors that we manufacture are basically made out of carbon and aluminum. There is no heavy metal in an ultracapacitor. So typically, if you had a flashlight battery, we have an equivalent ultracapacitor that weighs about 1/3 of what that battery weighs, just to give you a little bit of a comparison.
Now, when you have these, I did look on your website and some of the other, there are products already with these, like power tools and flashlights, and you put these things on a little charger, and 2 seconds later, it's like a NASCAR pit stop. These things are ready to go again.
They sure are. In fact, in Maxwell's history, we've got about 15 million ultracapacitors in the market that are working every day of the week.
So you could use these for like handheld radios, any of that kind of stuff. Would these ever be a good substitute for the batteries that we find now in things like iPods or cell phones?
Well, again, David, I really believe they're complementary because they can take care of that power boost. You're still going to need a battery or some energy source to power the ultracapacitor. So once it's charged, it needs a way to get recharged. So you can recharge this off a solar panel, a windmill, an outlet, or a battery. It's really agnostic as to how you get the charge there. But again, the key point is the ultracapacitor just stores. It doesn't generate.
But I guess you always have to recharge your battery. I guess would be the point I'm looking at. It's why it will store it. It only stores it the first time, then it has to be recharged like a capacitor out there. I guess we were talking a little bit in here in our chat room. What is the size of the market out there for ultra capacitors or this kind of technology these days?
That's a very good question. I wish I knew the answer to. What I will tell you is in the last few years, we have done a full-scale operation here to try to educate the market as to what an ultracapacitor is. Because, frankly, if you don't understand the technology, it's hard to get people interested in buying it. And, again, right now we've got over 15 million that are being used on a daily basis. What I would tell you is that engineers are coming to appreciate what you can do with the power components of the ultracapacitors, to the point that last year we sold over $68 million of these things, and our expectation is that number is going to grow again significantly this year.
Now, we have some interest in people actually picking up big wads of cash and throwing it at your company, and you're getting grants from DARPA and a thing called the United States Advanced Battery Consortium. Can you tell us about those? Yes.
We have submitted proposals and were successfully awarded money with DARPA, which is the defense agency, and that's to do some research and development that would take a technology and allow us to apply that for some military applications. The USABC is a consortium of Ford, Chrysler, and General Motors, and they have awarded us money to work on how do you put batteries and ultracaps together and take it to the next level as to what is the outgrowth technology that you might have if you put the two together. So there's a lot of interest right now in what can you do by optimizing power and optimizing energy.
This United States Advanced Battery Consortium, that's a lot of the car companies out there, and you actually have some background in that field?
Yes. Again, the USABC it's made up of General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler. And I spent, from right out of college on, for 20-some years, I worked for the Packard Electric division of General Motors, which is the wiring arm.
I've got one of my engineers in here in the radio studio. He keeps on wanting me to bring up ultracaps for competition car audio systems.
That would be one we could actually do. I'm not so sure I'd want to drive next to one and have my windows down.
I was going to say, I don't know if that's the kind of market that you want to be talking too much about, because it could be a little irritating to all the other people to have your car shaking because the next guy thinks his audio ought to be basically able to break the glass in every car around it. When we come,
got more than that capability.
When we come back, we're going to talk about a little bit more about what we can do with Ultra Caps. And, just what we can see in the future, what new materials are going to do for us out there. We've been talking about graphene and aeroglass, and I've seen some articles in this field, so we're going to talk to them a little bit about those kind of new materials and what we can expect from them.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportion of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower your volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Smith Barney financial advisor can do for you. Call Angelo O'Brien, financial advisor and certified financial planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC. Member SIPC.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. My new book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, is now on sale at Amazon.com for only $27.88. If you have an interest in mastering any market with superior confidence, this book is for you. I will walk you through the subjective theory behind quality, volume, and cause and effect, coupled with the objective aspects of the Tiger Gartley, all the while utilizing risk management and Tiger scaling techniques. This will give you the elements of a successful system that can be profitably applied to any stock, commodity, or future market, any place, anytime. I'm offering a complete educational program, including the book, for only $88. You'll receive a live 2-hour workshop in your city or online, where we get into quality volume, the ABC structure, as well as the never-seen-before Tiger Gartley. These techniques will make you money on a consistent basis. You can go to TFNN.com to see when I will be in your city. Don't let Wall Street eat you alive. It's time for you to rule the markets. Go to TFNN.com and sign up for the workshop coming to your city.
Great Basin Gold is an international gold mining company with 2 producing mines in the world's most prolific gold mining areas, the Hollister Gold Mine on the Carlin Trend in Nevada and the Burnstone Gold Mine in the Wits Basin in South Africa. The Burnstone Mine is a low-cost, long-life, shallow mine that is a company builder, and the Hollister Mine is one of the world's highest-grade ore bodies being mined today. Burnstone offers a huge re-rating potential by producing in the 4th quarter, and Hollister represents a tremendous and very exciting exploration opportunity. With annual production of 165,000 ounces of gold in 2010, 260,000 in 2011, and 330,000 ounces of gold in 2012, Great Basin is poised to become a leading mid-tier gold producer. Great Basin Gold has resources of over 13 million ounces, exceptional organic growth potential at its current mines, and greenfield operations in Tanzania and Mozambique. Great Basin has strong management and a commitment to deliver exceptional value and cash flow to its shareholders while acting responsibly toward its surrounding communities. To find out more about Great Basin Gold, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the American Stock Exchange, symbol GBG.
Put the power of the Chapman Wave methodology to work for you. No matter what market you trade, what time frame you trade in, or your trading style, the Opening Call, Basil Chapman's daily market newsletter, is bursting with the information and trades you need to become a more successful trader.
I've been using Basil Chapman's Chapman Wave methodology for several years now. His Chapman Wave can be used for any time period for not only equities, but futures, currencies, commodities. I've been also a subscriber of his Opening Call, which I find an invaluable tool to help me analyze the potential of the market each day. He gives you opportunities to go short and long. It includes recommendations on stocks. I strongly recommend people using the Chapman Wave, and I very, very strongly support the use of his Opening Call.
To find out more about Basil Chapman and his Chapman Wave methodology, and to get your 2-week free trial of the Opening Call, a $64 value, visit TFNN.com today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And as we come back, we're going to continue our discussion here about ultracapacitors, and we have the CEO of Maxwell Technologies on. His name is David Stram, and I wanted to talk about what new materials are and what we might see out of this technology in the future with new materials.
That's a very good question, David. At this point, there are people that do nothing but develop new materials, and they tend to come to us to see, are they applicable? You know, we're looking at graphenes, we're looking at nanotubes, and right now I will tell you the carbon that we use is orders of magnitude less expensive than those. However, that being said, the nanotube and the graphene material works extremely well. Now, as we're here, next week, Maxwell will be opening a new and a very well expanded R&D center, and R&D is really key to our technology. And that is keeping our PhDs focused on what is next, what's around the corner, and how do we improve what we have.
Now, maybe you can tell me a little bit more. I've read about this a little bit, and one of the comments I saw on aerogel was it's only good for low voltage applications out there. Is that true?
You know, I can't comment on that. All I know is that the carbon we use today is the best cost we can have for the system. The graphene and the nanotube I'm very familiar with, and again, they have extremely good characteristics, but really high cost at this point.
So for your business right now, it is a price-performance issue, do you feel?
Well, you know, I dare say in any market in the world, it's always price and performance. Our customers are no different than any other customers. Their expectation is that we deliver them perfect quality on time at the lowest possible cost to them. And that's exactly what we see in this marketplace. again, one of the uphill battles that I think we've overcome is people not understanding what this technology is. And with 15 million in service on a daily basis, that is quickly becoming something of the past. So we are getting a very good market acceptance. The two primary markets we have today, though, are Asia and Europe.
Why do you think that the U.S. is lagging behind there?
Well, some of it has to do with the fact that in Asia, we find that the government has really put in some significant subsidies to go green relative to transportation. And in Europe, we find that there's a lot more wind activity, and our product fits very well into pitch control systems on windmills. So we do see the growth specifically. China is growing very, very rapidly on energy conservation devices for public transportation, and the European market is growing very, very rapidly on windmills, and we just haven't seen either one of those to any great degree in the U.S.
Why don't you tell me, I noticed that on your website you do have a lot of windmills out there. Tell me about pitch control and why they need ultracapacitors for that.
Yes, in these windmills that we're working on, these typically generate between 2 and 7 megawatts, which are very, very large windmills. These windmills could be up to 500 feet tall. And what they have is a pitch control system. So if the wind blows too fast, you can slow the windmill down or stop it altogether. They used to use lead-acid batteries for this. And the problem got to be if it got too cold, the battery didn't have enough power, and if it didn't, the windmill runs the risk of destroying itself. Now, I would tell you and your listeners that 2 years ago, I had what I call as a bucket list opportunity to climb to the top of one of these windmills. There is no elevator and there is no escalator. It is a ladder, and it's a long way up. So what the customer determined is the labor that he spent to have a repairman climb up this windmill and replace the lead-acid batteries was much better suited to put ultracaps up one time, and that's what they're doing. So the ultracap gets charged from the energy coming out of the windmill, and then when needed, the ultracap powers the pitch control to change the pitch of the blade to slow the windmill down.
That's fantastic. When we come back, we're going to be looking at maybe some other applications that we haven't talked about for ultracapacitors out there. And we'll be back in just a second.
Would you like to discover the next great tech stock? David White, TFNN's technology guru, has just launched his new newsletter, The Technology Insider. In his newsletter, David will be looking for those shining stars that may turn into the next Apple, Microsoft, or Cisco. David combines his technology background as a software programmer with his market skills as a successful professional trader to give you this unique newsletter. We're on the verge of the next great tech run. With the Technology Insider, you'll be in front of the run-up and not lagging behind. David is developing a long-term investment portfolio. Therefore, we're only offering the Technology Insider as an annual subscription with a remarkable price of only $395. That's right, for a little over $1 a day, you'll receive the fundamental technology wisdom and technical trading skills of the Technology Insider David White. What are you waiting for? Go to the frontoftfnn.com, click on the link on the front page, sign up for your 2-week free trial, and become a Technology Insider today.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we pay you more for converting your jewelry to cash.
Let's go to Brian in New Jersey. Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, just want to let you know I did give you some jewelry. My jeweler offered me about $650, but you get a check in the mail tomorrow for about $1,200.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, it's all about honesty when converting your jewelry to cash.
Okay, let's go to Paul in Florida first. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
I want to commend you on the Tiger Metal Exchange. I just did a deal with you guys the other day.
Oh, good.
And very happy.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, did you sell us jewelry or did you buy coins off us?
I sold you jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What we weighted that was less than you guys said, so, you're totally honest.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we give you the tools to value your gold, and it's absolutely free. Call 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. We've created the easiest, safest, and most honest cash for gold process. Tiger Metal Exchange. It's the only call you need to make.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. My new book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, is now on sale at Amazon.com for only $27.88.
And as we come back, we are continuing our discussion with David Schramm about supercapacitors, ultracapacitors. And I have some questions. Normally you have 2 or 3 big markets out there, but is there kind of some strange things that these have been used for that you'd like to bring up now?
Well, we've tried to keep away, David, from doing strange things because the purpose of this company is to make money, and you tend to make money if you keep away from very low-volume niche products. So what we tried to do is to standardize our product line. Every one of our ultracapacitors uses our very proprietary electrode that we do have covered with an awful lot of intellectual property. But we build that in standard size ultracapacitors. We then take the standard ultracapacitors and put them into standard modules. So what we really look for are high volume applications so we can really ramp up the volume and reduce the cost, which increases our competitiveness as well as increases the profitability of the company.
Now, you actually manufacture those over in China, but all the good and technological stuff you build on this side of the pond?
Well, let me help you with the words a little bit. We manufacture the electrode here in San Diego at this time, and we're looking at putting a second facility in the United States to manufacture even more electrode. What we use China for is we're using contract manufacturers strictly for assembly, and it's very important there because no intellectual property leaves here to go to China. So it's strictly assembly only in China. Intellectual property is in the United States.
Now, when we're talking about using these, I guess you say you keep on coming back to the biggest hurdle is really people understanding these. And I guess engineers really understand them a lot. But I guess what you're really saying is that you really don't want to confuse the issue too much.
Well, when I say engineers understand it, they've just started to understand it in the last 3 or 4 years. What I will tell you is if you go back, the lead-acid battery has been around about 150 years. So engineers know the design criteria, they know the failure modes, they know the success modes. So there's an awful lot of data available. And the ultracapacitors, basically, it was a late 1990s invention that, Maxwell brought forward. And frankly, it's only been in the last couple of years that we've had commercial success with it and shown a profit by selling this product. So it's still a really embryonic product at this point.
Some of the other uses I see are standby power supplies. And is that just the quick changeover so these things can actually put out a lot of power very quickly and then they revert to the battery? Is that that part of the market that you apply ultracaps to?
Some of the applications we have are used as backup power and there's no battery around at all. For instance, on the solid-state disk drive, we have 4 of our ultracaps, very small ones, that are on the blades themselves. And what they're for is if there's any sort of a voltage interruption, the ultracap is there to supply the voltage so that the server blade, if you will, does not see an interruption and the data flow is constant. The same thing we have, we call it UPS, uninterrupted power supply. And if you take a fuel cell or any backup power unit, there's a certain lag time before the unit starts. And we have customers that will use the ultracap to take that lag time because, again, the UltraCap can kick in very, very quickly, so there's no loss of voltage to the system.
I guess other applications I saw on your website were emergency lighting. Just for that reason, you don't have to go in there, change the battery, and you can't really overcharge these either, right?
That's correct. Though you can overcharge them, obviously, if you put too much voltage on them. But once they're full at constant voltage, you're in pretty good shape. But these can be used for uninterrupted power supply, like we've got them on cell phone towers. We've got them in computer rooms. As I mentioned, we have them on the solid-state disk drives. So there's a huge market opportunity for us as this becomes better known technology.
I noticed that I think it was Intel came out this week with a application. Your product may be on their boards, but I noticed that even on the consumer hard drives, the SSDs now, that if you pull the power to them, they will complete all the commands using a ultracapacitor. They didn't say which one, but we'll go ahead and complete all the commands and shut down so you don't have a bad write to your hard drive. So I guess there's lots of applications like that. You're making these standard, and basically an engineer that's smart enough can figure out how to really add value to the product.
That's exactly right. And the solid-state disk drive you're talking about, I would dare say more than likely it is a Maxwell product. We are dealing with the major suppliers of those boards.
It was blue, right?
Maxwell blue.
Yeah, so I figured it was yours. I couldn't read the writing on the photograph, but I figured it was yours out there.
Well, we'll make sure we make the writing a little bit bigger next time.
We have a caller. We're going to take a phone call, and this is Les Jones. How you doing today, Les?
I'm doing great, thanks. Interesting show.
Go ahead and ask your question.
One of the things that the large utilities have been looking for is some way to store power from off-peak times. Is this technology scalable to be able to use that? It sounds like making these capacitors is not real expensive. I'm just wondering if that would be a way for them to store up power.
That's a very good question, and the answer is yes. We are looking at different utilities in the DOE, working on what you can do if you made, for instance, a truckload of UltraCaps along with a truckload of batteries, so that the UltraCap can take care of those voltage spikes and take care of the frequency regulation, and the battery takes care of the longer-term energy. But, the complementary nature of the two is something we are looking at, and frankly, there's some of that being done all over the world as we speak.
Well, with this new, that solar array that they're building down in the Mojave, to me that would tie in well with a project like that,
We're very much in agreement with you, and again, right now it's testing out the concept.
It's interesting. My father-in-law worked for a company called Physics International, and this was like 25, 30 years ago, and they used large capacitors to check the pulse military sites for, IMF or, electromagnetic pulse type hardening. And I was familiar with those devices back then. They were pretty intriguing.
Yeah, the technology here in the last 4 years has come a long way from where we were back even 10 years ago.
Well, we're going to be back in just a couple of minutes, and we'll wrap the hour up with our talk about ultracapacitors out here.
Thank you.
Looking for some extra cash to help pay off some of your bills? Let Tiger Metal Exchange convert your unwanted jewelry to cash. We pay out 80% of the market price for gold. Our payouts are the highest in the industry, more than double our largest competitors. And we've created the safest, easiest, and most straightforward process for converting your jewelry to cash. Log on to TigerMetalExchange.com and get your free scale, your free eye loop, and get the cash you deserve now. We provide a free online calculator that converts your jewelry to cash at up-to-the-minute spot prices. We insure your items for up to $75,000 per shipment free of charge. We videotape the entire valuation process so that you can view it online. You can call us toll-free at 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. Let Tiger Metal Exchange put more cash in your pocket without ever leaving the comfort of your home. Join the list of thousands of satisfied customers and go to TigerMetalExchange.com.
TFNN.com. It's the only click you need to make.
Would you like to discover the next great tech stock? David White, TFNN's technology guru, has just launched his new newsletter, The Technology Insider. In his newsletter, David will be looking for those shining stars that may turn into the next Apple, Microsoft, or Cisco. David combines his technology background as a software programmer with his market skills as a successful professional trader to give you this unique newsletter. We're on the verge of the next great tech run. With the Technology Insider, you'll be in front of the run-up and not lagging behind. David is developing a long-term investment portfolio, therefore we're only offering the Technology Insider as an annual subscription with a remarkable price of only $395. That's right, for a little over $1 a day, you'll receive the fundamental technology wisdom and technical trading skills of the Technology Insider David White. What are you waiting for? Go to the front of TFNN.com, click on the link on the front page, sign up for your 2-week free trial, and become a Technology Insider today.
Put the power of the Chapman Wave methodology to work for you. No matter what market you trade, what time frame you trade in, or your trading style, the Opening Call, Basil Chapman's daily market newsletter, is bursting with the information and trades you need to become a more successful trader.
I've been using Basil Chapman's Chapman Wave methodology for several years now. His Chapman Wave can be used for any time period for not only equities, but futures, currencies, commodities. I've been also a subscriber of his Opening Call, which I find an invaluable tool to help me analyze the potential of the market each day. He gives you opportunities to go short and long. It includes recommendations on stocks. I strongly recommend people using the Chapman Wave, and I very, very strongly support the use of his Opening Call.
To find out more about Basil Chapman and his Chapman Wave methodology, and to get your 2-week free trial of the Opening Call, a $64 value, visit TFNN.com today.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. My new book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, is now on sale at Amazon.com for only $27.88. If you have an interest in mastering any market with superior confidence, this book is for you. I will walk you through the subjective theory behind quality, volume, and cause and effect, coupled with the objective aspects of the Tiger-Gottlieb, all the while utilizing risk management and Tiger scaling techniques. This will give you the elements of a successful system that can be profitably applied to any stock, commodity, or future market, any place, anytime. I'm offering a complete educational program, including the book, for only $88. You'll receive a live 2-hour workshop in your city or online, where we get into quality volume, the ABC structure, as well as the never-seen-before Tiger-Gottlieb. These techniques will make you money on a consistent basis. You can go to TFNN.com to see when I will be in your city. Don't let Wall Street eat you alive. It's time for you to rule the markets. Go to TFNN.com and sign up for the workshop coming to your city.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Don't forget, you can test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we're going to finish up this hour. We're talking with David Schramm. He is the CEO of Maxwell Technologies, and we're talking about ultra-capacitors out there. One of the things I think we probably kind of moved by was that mostly when we look at batteries, they all, they put out a certain voltage per cell, and the chemistry pretty much defines the working parameters of that battery out there. You can kind of actually design capacitors for basically any kind of voltage use, right?
Yes, the main voltage that we use now is 2.7 volts per cell. So if you put them in series, the voltage is additive. So 2 cells would give you 5.4, and 3 would give you 8.1, and so on. We've got modules that the module will hold 125 volts, and then we have customers that take that module and put 6 of those in series to where they can store 750 volts.
So you've got kind of the Lego of power supplies out there.
I think that's a good way to look at it. So you can build a customized solution using our standard product.
I saw on one of the websites there was a car loaded with ultra-capacitors in the back. I was wondering just how fast that thing went.
Well, again, it would give you an awful lot of power, but not for a very long period of time. We do have as a...
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say we do have in production, it's a start-stop system. The Europeans don't regulate fuel economy as much as they do CO2 emissions. And one way they regulate the CO2 emission is that when the car comes to a stoplight or a stop sign, it turns the engine off and runs everything on electricity, which comes off the battery. They have 2 ultracapacitors in this application that then are used to restart the vehicle. So in normal city traffic, you could stop and start every 500 meters, which would kill a battery if that had to restart the car because it just can't absorb enough off the alternator to recharge itself. So PSA, again, the Peugeot Citroën group in France, has put these ultra caps in, and they did this previously, I might mention, with lead-acid batteries and found the battery was just not lasting for the life of the application. So this is a great application for us where we're, again, complementary with the battery. The battery's running the energy, and we're running the power.
Yeah, we've got lots of people in our chat room here that would like to make drag racers, but I think that's kind of the analogy. If we didn't have batteries, these things would do the quarter mile and we'd be done with them.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Now, I noticed that the EAA, the Experimental Aviation EIA, is actually having planes now that are electrically having competitions with electric planes out there that are actually hauling humans around. So I guess that would be something that ultracapacitors might help with too, huh?
Well, you never know. Again, we're complementary to batteries. I will tell you, we do have some aerospace applications that the UltraCap is used as a backup power in case of emergency to help open the doors on some aircraft.
And you also have business also in satellite business, right?
That satellite business is not UltraCap. That's one of our other businesses here. It's our microelectronics business where we build a single-board computer that is made up of radiation-hardened componentry, which makes us capable of flying through solar flares and the like.
Well, it sounds like you've got a well-rounded company out there. We want to thank you for all your time in explaining UltraCaps out there, and probably one of the things that's going to be on the leading part of the green revolution in the coming years.
We sure hope so, David. Thank you for your time today.
Fantastic. Anyway, that was David Schramm. He is the CEO of Maxwell Technologies out there. He holds a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering and a master's degree in management from Stanford out there. Pretty sharp guy out there. Looks like, I think he's in the catbird seat out there for working with batteries. And there's a lot of great stuff out there that we're going to be covering in the coming weeks. Anyway, wanted to thank everybody for sitting in with us here for this hour. You all have a great weekend, a safe weekend.
Great Basin Gold is an international gold mining company with 2 producing mines in the world's most prolific gold mining areas, the Hollister Gold Mine on the Carlin Trend in Nevada and the Burnstone Gold Mine in the Wits Basin in South Africa. The Burnstone Mine is a low-cost, long-life, shallow mine that is a company builder, and the Hollister Mine is one of the world's highest-grade ore bodies being mined today. Burnstone offers a huge re-rating potential by producing in the 4th quarter, and Hollister represents a tremendous and very exciting exploration opportunity. With annual production of 165,000 ounces of gold in 2010, 260,000 in 2011, and 330,000 ounces of gold in 2012, Great Basin is poised to become a leading mid-tier gold producer. Great Basin Gold has resources of over 13 million ounces, exceptional organic growth potential at its current mines, and greenfield operations in Tanzania and Mozambique. Great Basin has strong management and a commitment to deliver exceptional value and cash flow to its shareholders while acting responsibly toward its surrounding communities. To find out more about Great Basin Gold, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the American Stock Exchange, symbol GBG.